Yes, day 50 of the time now, 6:01.
And the big news is Laura has finally walked.
So you said the big news. Oh, that is the big news.
Yes.
Right, that's right. Our weekend break housemate finally checked out after a staggering 4 days, 10 hours and 2 minutes. I mean, is that not incredible? And we'll find out why later on the show.
I can't tell you, I'm thoroughly disappointed. We've also got behavioural expert Dr. Pam Spur. She's going to be here to tell us why our housemates are all cracking under the pressure.
Plus, the man who spends his summer straddling hogs with Ewan McGregor is Charlie Bournemouth, everybody.
But back to last night, and a love story set to rival the greats. Charles and Di, Den and Angie, Amy and Blake. They have got nothing on John James and Josie. Here's a recap.
My first nomination is going to be Ben.
Ben. He's selfish.
Steve.
I can feel intimidated around him.
John James is constantly on edge.
Dave will not be permitted to nominate and will become a nominated housemate.
I just want to go home now. I feel nervous all the time. It's just too much. I just can't deal with it.
I don't want to see you anymore.
Wait, just can you look at me for 2 seconds?
What are you doing?
I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry, alright.
Oh, I love her and that.
I just don't want to hurt anyone.
Come back here, you nose!
Come on, we're mates. You wouldn't ever leave me here, would you?
Last Friday, our next guest was hand-picked by the housemates to enter the Big Brother house. But in the time it takes to boil a very large egg, she was gone. Please welcome, a blink and you'll miss her. It's Laura, everybody. Thank you, my love. Laura.
Yeah.
What happened? Did you leave the iron on?
I don't know. I just felt like I just wasn't being myself at all, and
You were just watching those clips back there, you were saying, oh, how embarrassing.
yeah, it was embarrassing. It is embarrassing because I can't believe I acted like that. I wouldn't have gone out for it and thought I'd be so unhappy if I got in, and I got in, and then I just was so unhappy, and I just felt like I had to leave.
You poor thing, you had to bail out.
Yeah.
You didn't even say goodbye this morning.
I couldn't say goodbye because
Too tough, Laura.
it
You'd bonded so much.
No, I felt like I had. Like, got along with them all really, really well. Apart from Josie and John, who I didn't really get to speak to.
They were doing their own thing, Laura.
Yeah, they were mostly in the bed. I don't know what they were doing in there, but yeah, like.
Was there a little bit of you that wanted to get into that bed, Laura? Is that why you left?
No,
Because you couldn't get into JJ's heart.
No, that wasn't actually. It feels quite awkward when you like go in there. You just feel like they want to be left alone. You don't want them to think you're trying to listen in on their like deep conversations.
How do you think they reacted to you leaving?
From when I said I was going to leave, like on whatever occasion it was, like fourth or fifth occasion when I first went in, they all seemed like they really wanted me to stay. They were all crowding around me saying, don't leave, don't leave. And that's one of the reasons that I didn't say goodbye, is because I found that really hard, because I did get along with them really well. The second reason was that they would probably have persuaded me to stay. And I don't know, I just...
Should we have a little look at how they reacted, Laura? Let's have a look.
This is Big Brother. Housemates. Laura has chosen to leave the Big Brother house and will not be returning.
You are joking!
What's she done that? I didn't even get to know her. Well, I didn't. Oh, that's awful. I really liked her.
And Laura was a lovely, lovely girl, don't get me wrong, but somebody else could have had that chance.
Oh, hey? Somebody else could have had that chance. You wasted it, Laura.
But somebody else could have had that chance, and like I was grateful and happy to be there and did as much as everyone else did to get in there. But you don't know how you're going to react until you're in
Imagine
there.
how Joel and Megan and the other guys are feeling right now, huh? Imagine that.
Well, maybe, you know, hopefully they...
You've got to feel some element of guilt, Laura.
I feel, you know, I do feel bad that I didn't stay there long enough, but, you know, I worked as hard as they did to get to where they were, and just because I didn't plan on getting in just to be unhappy, I planned in to have a wicked time, to be myself, and I wasn't myself, and that's why...
What
I
about
felt
the
like I had
vibe
to
with
leave.
Ben? There seemed to be a real vibe between you
Yeah,
and Ben,
like-
so much so it caused problems between he and Rachel.
I liked Ben. I got along with Ben really well. I thought he was really nice.
If you'd have stayed there a bit longer, do you think you might have got fruity between the two of you?
I don't think so. No? I don't think he fancied me.
Right, now listen, I think he did. I want you to dish the dirt now on some of your housemates. I want to know, and you owe it to us, all right, Laura, so it's not an optional thing. I want to know from you, who's the most desperate to win?
Mario seems to me like he kind of wants to win it quite badly. Yeah.
Right, OK. Who's nastier than they come
Maybe
across on
he's
the
just
show?
that entertaining, but... sorry, what?
Who's nastier than they come across on the show?
I don't think anyone's nasty in there.
Really?
No.
Right, OK. And I was going to ask you what's going on with John James and Joseph, but we don't have time because I just want to have a quick look at the Walk of Shame, guys. There's a lot of people here who bailed out early doors. Remember Tom from BB10, I think he was. He managed 9 days, and then Sunita 7 days. But you, my darling, you're right up the top there with 4 days almost. only beaten by Isaac, and he was there 3 days, and he wasn't really even meant to be on the show anyway. So I think you've done spectacularly well to be up there. Give her a big round of applause, Laura. Thanks for the memories. Very brief memories, but thank you for them. Now let's get back to the housemates who could be leaving the house through the front door for once. There's 4 boys facing the public vote this week, and here are the numbers you need. To evict Andrew, call 090 11 323 015. To evict Ben, call 090 11 323 001. To evict Dave, call 090 11 323 004. To evict John James, call 090 11 323 007. Calls cost 50p from a BT landline. Other networks may be higher and mobiles will cost considerably more. 15p from each call will be donated to charity. Details and terms at channel4.com/Big Brother. Voting closes in Friday's show.
So it seems the House has gone into meltdown with emotions riding higher than Ben's quiff. And here to make sense of it all is behavioural expert Dr. Pam Spence. What a week it's been! There's been so much going on, but obviously today Laura became the 3rd person to walk out of the House this series. So why does everybody want to go? What's happened to them all?
Well, they go into the House with this huge psychological barrier, which says it's unthinkable to walk when you've been given the privilege of being a housemate.
But they shouldn't walk because they have been given the privilege of being a housemate.
Exactly. And when Shabby made that decision to go through and break that barrier, then it makes it so much easier for the domino effect to happen. And face it, Emma, we do not have a powerful alpha male or alpha female there for when they're in a crisis.
But what about
for them to turn to.
Because they seem quite, you know, like they could be.
Well, Corin has her heart in the right place, bless her, and she did try and help Laura, but it wasn't enough. It's not someone that maybe Laura looked up to enough to actually believe.
So why did she only last 4 days, do you think?
She has what I'd call a low sort of emotional filter, and that means she absorbed all the unsettled sort of feelings in the house that are going on right now.
Right, OK. So why are emotions running so high at the moment, do you think?
Well, one way of looking at this is something called emotional lability.
Right.
And this is where, if you have one end of a scale where it's low, you get the kind of lounge lizard, cool, chilled out personality like George Lamb. And then you get...
Really?
Then on the high end, you get those people with volcanic emotions. They can't control their emotions.
Right, OK. So this is our emotional lability meter, and we've got Ben at the bottom of it. So why is he down there?
Well, Ben's always chatting about his emotions, so you might think he'd be high, but that's not true.
So it's the other way around.
He understands them when he talks about them, so he's very low on the scale.
Right, OK. Do you think because he talks about his emotions so much, that has helped deteriorate his relationship with Mario?
Well, Mario can't stand the fact that he has these little flings with new people, like first Rachel, then it was, of course, Laura, and
he's so promiscuous in the house.
Oh, he is. He's a little hussy. And so I think it rubs salt in the wounds for Mario, who hasn't really accepted that he was rejected early on. So he sees Ben being quite chilled out, having these little dalliances, and it really hurts.
He was brilliant last night, though, wasn't he? When he was just sat on the bed staring at him, made him so uncomfortable.
Classic passive-aggressive challenging behaviour. It's like school ground. I'm going to stare you out.
Yeah.
You know, so really resorting back to kind of childlike behaviour.
It was funny, though, because he had this little smirk on his face the whole time that was like,
it
I'm
still
just so
worked
much better than you.
It upset Ben and Laura, you know.
Yeah, no, it did. And what about Corinne? She kind of goes through extremes with her emotions.
Yeah, and I put her sort of past the midway point on the meter because of the fact she understands her emotions. So she doesn't like Ben. She knows what they're about.
She's kind of the agony aunt of the house.
Yeah, but sometimes she lets them get the better of her, so she's emotionally labile in that way.
Right, okay, now John James is right up high, and is that because he's the most emotional of all the housemates?
Well, there's some key things to his personality. He cannot label his emotions. He never understands them. He's lying there under the covers with Josie thinking, oh, this feels nice, but what am I thinking? He just doesn't know what he's thinking. So he gets very het up and full of these sort of powerful waves of emotions, and that's why he's so high on the scale.
So what is going to happen with him? Because I think everybody wants a romance to happen, and what he's saying, that he's not interested in her, but what he's doing, cuddling her, smooching with her. We all heard those little smoochy noises last night. So what is it? And look, he's rubbing her bum here.
But that's comfort.
It's not very...
That's comfort behaviour.
It's just more of a stroke than a
It's
glow,
not sexy.
I think.
no sexy time there. No, I've got news for you. They have found soulmates in each other, but it's not a romantic soulmate for John James. Two key things about his personality. He's low on emotional risk-taking, and he craves security, so there's no way he's going to jeopardize the security blanket that Josie gives him by maybe dabbling his toe in sort of the relationship and romance.
Do you not think he just hasn't realised it yet? That now that he knows that she likes him, he might go, oh my goodness, I like her too.
If anything, early on he realised maybe there was a spark, but now it's gone far too long for him. He feels such turmoil about not upsetting her.
So I'm living a fantasy that's never going to happen.
Yeah, soulmates, but not romantic soulmates.
Pam, don't tell me that. Pam Spur, everybody. Thank you. George, where are you?
Now, our official Facebook page hit 250,000 fans yesterday, guys. Just keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. If you check out the homepage now, you will see some very exciting Big Brother news that I will be revealing after the break. We'll see you in 4. Welcome back to Little Brother. The time now 6:18. Now, if you didn't get a chance to visit the website during the break, I could reveal that a brand new housemate will be going into the house on Friday, everybody. Yeah. Still to come, adventurer Charlie Borman explains why eating turtle testicles is similar to one of Rachel's omelettes. But first, here's Emma with the news.
So, as seen on yesterday's BBLB, Andrew is facing the public vote as a result of saving the place. And it seemed there was only one way to deal with the disappointment: drowning his sorrows. Cue embarrassing drunk behaviour.
I read a statistic the other day. Yeah. There's Australians are unfaithful. I know what you're thinking.
Get some water.
Oh, flush, boy, flush the toilet empty. That's disgusting. At 11:08 a.m. today, the housemates' shopping task began, and for once, they had to do nothing at all. For the next couple of days, random events will take place in the house, and the housemates are not permitted to react in any way. Now, you'd think that would be really easy, wouldn't you? Well, maybe it's not as easy as you think, especially when you have a male stripper in a thong swinging his bits in your face.
Rachel, ignore it. Rachel, ignore it. Off your shoes.
Did you see that sneaky look? I saw that sneaky look. They couldn't help themselves. And it didn't get any easier. At 4:32 p.m, there was another knock at the door, and this time it was Santa Claus. Calm down there, kids. It wasn't the real thing. No, it was Mario's granddad, Eric, in disguise. But remember, they have to ignore the obvious. So, did Mario manage it?
Hello, Mario.
Hello, Big Brother.
You mentioned your grandparents. Are you missing them?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, because The summertime now, I would have definitely gone and visited and spent maybe a week with him.
And guess who's with us now? Grandad Eric! How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
What was it
All
like?
thanks to you.
Well, not me personally, but, you know, I'll take the credit. That's okay.
I know, yeah.
What was it like going into the house?
It was just unreal.
Really?
It was just unreal. It was fantastic.
It
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
It must have been really strange for you, though, being able to go in, see Mario, you know, touch him, but not really talk to him in any way
Not
and have
talk to
any
him.
contact.
It was just, as I said, just unreal. To sit there right at the side of him.
Yeah.
And I actually did give him a bit of a nudge because, as you know, he's not supposed to respond or he gets a penalty.
Do you think he knew it was you?
I don't know. I don't
Were you
really know.
trying to?
He never gave
Were you trying
any
to talk
sign.
through your eyes with him?
Well, no, because I was slightly back of him, and I
Right.
kept glancing across and having a sly smile at him, you know. But he wasn't watching, and if he did see me, he just gave no indication at all.
That's good, though, because it shows that he's
want
really
to-
playing the game.
He didn't want to get a penalty. He
Yeah.
just did not want to get a penalty.
How do you think he's getting on in there?
I think he's doing fine. He's doing fine. He's like everybody else. He has his little ups and downs
Yeah.
and so forth. And
But you're proud.
oh, I'm so pleased
Good.
with him. Yeah.
Eric, thank you so much. Eric, everybody, Mario's granddad.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Don't forget, all the latest breaking news is at the website, so go check it out.
So our next guest has travelled through hostile countries and survived life-threatening situations. It's adventurer Charlie Borman, everybody. Hello, Charlie. How are you?
Yeah, very well.
Are you loving the show?
I am loving it.
Look at the gorilla bowing down to you. Now, Charlie's been on some amazing trips. He's got more air miles than Richard Branson. You've been on these wonderful journeys from kind of north to south, west to east. How do you think their journey kind of relates to yours?
Well, they don't go anywhere, do they?
No, they don't.
So, yeah, no, I mean, I think there's loads of sort of comparison because, you know, when you're doing a big trip or doing something like this, you know, there's your good and bad times. And,
Right,
and
okay.
I think a lot of them are going through a bit of a bad time at the moment, aren't
They are indeed. But I mean, a lot of them going through a spiritual journey at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah? Should we have a look at their spiritual journey, guys? Let's have a look at that.
You know, this is a lifetime opportunity to take away a journey and come out of it a better person.
I know what it is to be in intense situations, right in the middle of Yemen, but I haven't experienced anything like this.
Whenever I leave this house, even if it is on Friday, I would have changed a great deal, hopefully for the better.
This has prepared me as a person for a lot more stuff that I'm going to experience in the outside world.
Just have a brilliant summer, a good time, and hopefully go through a journey.
Yeah.
Oh, see Laura in the house there, huh? Seems like a distant memory. And they've on the most part, they've been in there roughly 50 days,
Yeah.
right? And like you said, they haven't really gone anywhere. In 50 days, you managed to get from John O'Groats to Somalia, right? I mean, that's a pretty big journey. On another journey, you drove across the desert with broken arms, right?
Yeah.
That's another big journey. And yet you're not moaning. And they're in there and they're just moaning about everything, Charlie. What's going
Oh,
on?
God, well, you know, it's interesting because they all wanted to be in there. And
Yeah.
it's like anything. Once you're there, now you're just moaning about wanting to be out. And so...
And then people are walking out, Charlie. What's all that about?
Oh, I tell you, you know, I remember when you and I were in Mongolia, we, you know, we had a real moment where it was so tough then, and the roads were bad, and everything was bad, and everything was going wrong.
Yeah.
That, you know, we thought we would get out of Mongolia and go to Russia, but you know, one of the great things about we decided no, we would stay, and it turned out to be one of the best
See that,
parts
Laura?
of the whole trip.
See that, Laura? He
definitely
stayed,
think
and it was one of the best parts of his life. She's not even there. All the cameras are turned on. It's incredible.
But I do think she's going to really regret it.
She will regret it, won't
really
she, Charlie?
regret it. And,
how do you dig deep? How do you keep going when you're in a situation like that?
Well, you know, you've got to remember that you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And so you can't just decide, you know, oh well, you know,
don't want to do it
the
anymore.
first second that it gets bad, you run.
Some
And
life
you know, she
lessons
wanted to
here
go
from
back
Charlie Borman, guys.
to her boyfriend, a cheating boyfriend.
Yes, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Now, what about lack of sleep? Is that ever
Lack of
a
sleep,
kind of
yeah.
contributing factor?
That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in the little gorilla helping us with things. When we were in Indonesia, I was on a boat and we were going through. He's a great gorilla, isn't he? And we were on this boat it's supposed to take 3 days.
Yeah.
This tiny boat going from Timor to to Darwin, and it took 6 days, and,
Oh.
and we ended up in this storm for 4.
Can you imagine how Ben would have been after 6 days on a boat like that?
And you just can't sleep, and it really does. It changes your whole mood. It changes you,
Right.
And you know the less you sleep, the more difficult everything becomes. And I think he's going through that at the moment.
He is going through that.
It's
And
hard.
what about the guys with kids? Obviously, Dave and Steve
No.
have got kids. They must be feeling homesick.
Yeah, and homesick is the thing. You know, again with our little gorilla, India. On the things, and I think when you've got nothing to do and you're just sitting around all day and you're missing your children and you're missing, those are I got
Days are
really
hard.
depressed on the overnight trains where you're on a train for 20 hours, 22 hours, and you just got nothing to do but think about
How
where
does
you'd
Charlie
like to be.
Borman get through a time like that? What would he say? If you could go and speak to the housemates right now, what would you say? How would you talk them through?
I'd tell them to suck it up.
Suck it up, guys.
Yeah, good proper American. No, I would. I'd just say, look, it might be bad now, but in a few days you'll feel different.
Yeah.
And if you get to the end, whatever your end is,
Yeah.
and at least you gave it everything. It's like when I broke my hands, I rode 450 kilometres, but I got to the end of the day of the Dakar Rally, and the doctor said, look, you can't. Not only can you not do anything, but you can't even wipe your arse, let alone anything else. And
It's a nice image Charlie's painting for us.
Yeah, with 2 broken hands, but at least I got to the end, and I can safely say that I did everything I could to do it. Whereas, if you gave up, it would always be on the back of your mind for the rest of your life.
It's always going to be in the back of your mind, Laura, for the rest of your life. Charlie Borman, everybody. That's all we've got time for tonight. Tune in tomorrow when Crime Watch present of Rev Wilding will be presenting the Big Brother House live as part of the BBUK.
Don't forget to catch the main show tonight on Channel 4 at 10 o'clock. We will see you tomorrow. Have a lovely evening.